Yeah, so you got Rayman Origins, which looks fantastic, like a very good-looking game. The whole hand-drawn animation thing, beautiful aesthetic. And what does Ubisoft do? They release it the same day as Skyrim. And it's not even a case of that release date sneaking up on you. Because Skyrim's release date was not something that was just announced a week before. Skyrim was set to be huge. Oblivion had been big, Oblivion had really introduced a lot of people to the series. And Skyrim was set to be huge, more people. People have been in word of mouth, people who have picked up Oblivion after the fact, and that kind of thing. And so Skyrim. And Ubisoft releases Rayman Legends the same day. And of course it was never going to sell well compared to that, that's a bad idea. And then Rayman Legends comes along, and Rayman Legends is a fantastic game. And what do Ubisoft do with Rayman Legends? Originally it's intended to be a Wii U exclusive. Not the best idea to begin with. Where is this other lighthouse? Where's the next lighthouse? Went the wrong way. Damn. Originally set to be a Wii U exclusive, not the best idea to begin with, because the Wii U didn't sell huge, wasn't really pulling in numbers. So, you know, like, fair enough. It's understandable why Ubisoft decided to put it on all the other platforms. The issue becomes they delayed the Wii U version for 6 months. The Wii U version is fully complete, they delay it for 6 months to release the same day as all the other versions. What's the release date they choose for it? The same day Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out. Whether you like Grand Theft Auto or not, you have to understand Grand Theft Auto 5 is the single most profitable piece of entertainment media in history. That has made more money than any other piece of entertainment media. And it had made that money before the game even came out. Like, Grand Theft Auto was like the biggest pre-order game ever. And again, that's not a release date that snuck up on people. Can I do this? Ugh, damn it. It's not, again, it's not a release date that snuck up on people. And anybody with any sense would have realised Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to be huge. Because of course it was. Grand Theft Auto 4 was huge, San Andreas was huge, Vice City was huge, Grand Theft Auto 3 was huge. But no, Ubisoft decides to throw Rayman Legends out the same day, and oh, lo and behold, Rayman Legends doesn't really sell that well compared to Grand Theft Auto 5. Because everybody who was really interested in games is more interested in Grand Theft Auto 5. Yeah, you've got people who would be more interested in Rayman Legends. Not going to be a majority though. And there's a big issue. I think that's like the last time there was a big AAA released platformer that wasn't Nintendo, and it really is a shame. But like, getting back to the original point, we're probably never going to see another Spyro game. And while the re-release, the remake, is all well and good, at the end of the day, it's the same game. You've stuck a nicer coat of paint on it, but for people like me who will go back and play the original, and the original plays fine. And for people like me, it doesn't really mean anything. And that whole thing is like a big part of my issue with the Crash remake, the Spyro remake, because you know it's done for one reason, and that reason is money. Was there a world over here? Guess we're not going to find out. It's like a lot of things are done for money, of course they are. Especially in the entertainment industry. But the remakes were remakes of games that didn't really need remakes. All they needed really was to be released on a current platform. But the PS4 doesn't have PS1 backwards compatibility. So, you want to get some more money off this? Well, you know, if we remake them, god damn it. If we remake them, we can get more money out of it, we can charge more for them. But again, like I say, not games that need remakes, games that play fine. Let's go with this one. That said, the remake I'm kind of interested in, the Medieval remake. And the reason for that is Medieval 1 doesn't play fine. Medieval 1's controls have aged. But Medieval 1 was a really solid game. This game I really enjoyed. And a fresh coat of paint on that game isn't necessarily something I'm interested in. What I'm after is the fresh control, the improved control. It's like stuff like the Banjo-Kazooie remake on Xbox 360. Why go with that over the original 64 version? Well, you know, they improved the control. That's the main reason. And fix the control on Medieval. And you know, I'm interested in that again. That's a good idea. Like I say, Crash and Spyro control fine. There was never really an issue with the control. Yeah, the camera in this game can be a bit irritating. But that's just kind of standard for a lot of platformers. A lot of the time, cameras in platformers just will not respond the way you want them to. And the compensation for that is usually a faster acting camera. It's like, considering the open nature of this game, the camera is actually surprisingly good. We turn around and then charge. And the camera is immediately right back to our back. And that's great. And there is the option for actual control yourself of the camera. And it all plays really well. And it didn't need to be remade for it.
Releasing me.
But no, the Medieval remake, certainly one I'm interested in. Am I going to pick it up day one? Probably not, because my backlog is huge. And like, at some point, these Let's Plays need to get off these games that I have played before and onto some newer stuff that I haven't played before, and you know, see how that goes. Because, you know, the Let's Plays being motivation to actually play games, which is basically what the Let's Plays are to me, is something for the backlog. It's like, oh, why am I going to play these games? Well, you know, got my Let's Play channel. Is anybody watching it? Who cares, honestly? Because the reason I'm doing it is to get through some of these games, replay old games that I love and I don't really go back to now, and play some new games that I've just had on my shelf for ages.
You, Spyro? Are you the young dragon I've been hearing so much about? Ever since you're a wee puff of smoke, we've known,
You've known?
I forget.
So I didn't mention it as we came across it, but that big Nork attacking us with a bird is actually kind of funny to me. Like, no, some of them have got clubs. That guy's got a blunderbuss of some kind. And then that guy's just hitting us with a bird. It's like, oh, it's ridiculous. The cacti that shake off the... what would you call it? Like, burns? Scorches? I don't know. There's a lot of humorous little bits to this game. I always appreciate that kind of thing. And it's not forced, it's all just there, you pay attention to it or don't. It's up to you. But it's fun, it's good humour. I think that was kind of like one of the problems with Ukulele, from what I've seen. A lot of the humour felt really forced, and also, hey, remember us? We made these games that you grew up loving. I need to get to Ukulele myself and actually try it out at some point. And at that point, I'd be trying it out with absolutely zero nostalgia for the games it's calling back to. So at that point, you've got the opinion of somebody who is looking at this as its own game. And that's always something you've got to take a lot of these games into account with, like Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, which is a little game that came out, it's been a few months now, as of the time of recording. And it's a prequel game to Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is due out this summer. Which I'm quite looking forward to, because I'm a big fan of the Metroidvanias, a big fan of Castlevania, just in general. And Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is what Ritual of the Night is to Symphony of the Night. Curse of the Moon is to Castlevania 3. And so if you've got the nostalgia for the series there, that could blind you to the whole thing. I don't really have nostalgia for Castlevania 3 though, that's the thing with me. So I'm looking at this game as a classic style Castlevania. And at that point I don't have nostalgia for the specific game it's aping. I have nostalgia for games with a different style. I have a bit of nostalgia for Super Castlevania 4, but Ritual of the Night is doing something very different to that. So I play Curse of the Moon. I play Curse of the Moon.
Dry Canyon rewards good gliders. You are a good glider, eh, Spyro?
I was born to glide.
So like, Curse of the Moon has that whole thing going for it, and honestly I think comes out really well. It plays really well, it looks really good. Because it's doing that whole faux retro NES style, like Shovel Knight did. And again, Shovel Knight, I have no nostalgia for the NES. Shovel Knight is a fantastic game. And Curse of the Moon's doing that kind of style, the limited colour palette and that. There we go, one try. And it plays really well. It has a lot of the old caveats of the old Castlevanias, like the stiff jumps and that.
Incredible glide, Spyro. I thought I'd be stuck here forever with those ugly vultures standing on my head. Those birds might look tough, but they're pretty tasty. Flame broiled, with a pinch of salt.
It's got the stiff jump, which classic Castlevania tradition, but it kind of tempers that with, there we go. It tempers that with the multiple characters. Your main character Zangetsu has the stiff jump, but then you've got Miriam, who you unlock after the first boss, I think it is, who has a much more controllable jump. And at that point, what you end up with is each character having their own advantages and disadvantages. Like, Miriam has less health than Zangetsu, but she can jump better. She jump higher, jump further, you have more control over the jump, and her attack has a longer range. And so you end up with the advantages and disadvantages of each character, and it's a really good idea, and it's really well realised. And I've forgotten the original point I was making. I don't know, at some point we just started talking about Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. There was a point somewhere in this and I've lost it. Okay, so there is some gems I've missed somewhere. The chest, because I got the key. That's where it is. Now, where was the chest? It was off in the distance over here. There it is. Yeah, it does tell me I've got the key code. That's for future reference. Oh, you know, it was a ukulele, yeah. Ukulele, for me, when I get to it, will have to stand up on its own merits without any of the nostalgia of its old games, which I think is the best way to look at a lot of these things. And it's the way I looked at Shovel Knight, it's the way I looked at Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, because while I have the nostalgia for Castlevania, I don't have the nostalgia for Castlevania 3. I have the nostalgia for Super Castlevania 4, which is a pretty different kind of game. The same basic idea is there, but Castlevania 3 is pretty different in a lot of ways to 4. Let's get out of here. Yeah, so we'll get to ukulele at some point, but everything I've seen of it really just makes it look like it's pandering to nostalgia for Banjo-Kazooie. And also Donkey Kong 64 with the new rap that doesn't seem as entertaining as the DK rap. Alright, so what we're going to do actually is we're going to call it a session here. We've got a good amount of stuff done today. We're in the second one. We're almost done with it. I will catch you guys next session.